Almost every day a possible new victim of phone hacking emerges, and I believe for me it was happening literally outside my house. It was on this street in 2005 that I realised that I and people close to me almost certainly had our phones hacked. Purely using our mobile phones, I arranged a meeting here with then Cabinet Minister Tessa Jowell. By the time she arrived, a News International photographer was outside the house. But this isn't about me or Tessa or the showbiz stars who've been affected. This is about what kind of democracy we want, and it raises serious questions about misconduct by the press and the police alike. Football's Gordon Taylor reportedly received a £700,000 settlement over allegations the News of the World hacked his phone. Taylor's solicitor, Mark Lewis, says he's now investigating for another dozen clients. What sort of money are we talking about that the News International and other newspapers, if it gets to them, might have to end up paying out?
The scale of this operation is enormous. There are hundreds of victims. You're talking about 50 million, 100 million, 150 million pounds. This could absolutely ruin newspapers.
Unsurprisingly, very few journalists will go on record about this, but one former News of the World reporter who now works as a freelance will. Over what period were you using phone hacking as a, in your view, legitimate journalistic device?
About 5 or 6 years.
How often did you do it?
I don't know, every couple of weeks. It was almost an industry standard technique.
Yeah, a lot of the focus has been on voicemail messages,
Yeah.
but actually you've actively listened to conversations taking place on private telephones.
Yeah, a number of times I've sat in the back of vans, usually freelance photographers working for agencies, and they're scanning the airwaves trying to see if they can pick up the celebrity's phone that was sitting outside.
Publicist Max Clifford is certain his phone was hacked and believes that many of his clients' phones were hacked as well.
I planted false stories because I suspected possibly my phone was being hacked for a long period of time, not just by the News of the World either. And by pure coincidence, when I was saying this was happening in this part of the world or that part of the world, suddenly a journalist would turn up there from various papers.
Methods of obtaining information include accessing voicemail messages by knowing or guessing a password, to blagging.
And is he there all weekend?
Which is asking for information by impersonating someone else. This report was published by the Information Commissioner's Office in 2006. It also exposes an extraordinary web involving newspapers, the police, private detectives, other public bodies. This table here shows the number of times that each newspaper has made a transaction trying to get information via a private detective. In one case alone here, a private detective had 13,000 requests for information. What these reports expose is an unlawful trade that's breaking the law to get people's personal, private information without any public interest justification whatsoever. And what about the role of the police in this? Because they also said that they'd had a thorough investigation.
Well, in my view, the police's behaviour is one of the most alarming of all, because the evidence that is now emerging actually has been in the possession of the police for the last 5 years. There has always been a close relationship between newsrooms and the police, and I think it was convenient for both sides to accept the claim that this was the action of one rogue reporter and was exceptional, and that it wasn't a widespread practice.
Do reporters pay policemen for information?
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah. But again, is that a crime? I'm not sure it is.
I'm not sure that police should be taking money from anybody that,
there's a couple
in any way that affects their duties as police officers.
I mean, my view was that so many, coppers at the Met took backhanders from people like me, 200 quid for a number plate and give us a bit of goss on this star who got nicked and what they were doing and so on.
What some of the newspapers have said is you got £1 million from News International, either in cash or in work, to stop pursuing the case, the allegations of phone hacking against you.
I settled with the News of the World. My phone was hacked, but I sorted it out with them, and we've all moved on. The
way this thing's going now, it could lead to you going to jail. This time the coppers might come and see you. They might not take no for an answer.
Yeah, well, come and visit me in the scrubs. Many people say that I might.
Press freedom is one thing, and it's a good thing too, but that freedom is being put at risk by the systematic criminal activity of some newspapers. And one thing is for sure, for both the press and the police, these questions are not going away.
News International reiterates that if presented with evidence of wrongdoing, they will take swift and decisive action, as demonstrated by last week's dismissal of a senior member of staff. They continue to cooperate fully with the authorities. What do you think of that?
Well, it's worrying. I mean, I was asking you, and you said it's quite easy to do, actually,
yes,
isn't it?
Not that I ever have.
No, no.
Of course.